Welcome to Meeple, uniting players from around the world. A 30-minute exploration of PJ and Gareth's board game experiences from across both sides of the Atlantic. Each episode, they share their thoughts and opinions on the world of board games, including their favourite themes, games, hot topics, and much, much more.
Welcome to episode 44, Gaming with Vikings, a UK Games Expo special. As always, I'm PJ.
And I'm Gareth.
And Gareth has a story to tell us today. You know, I want to hear about, before we begin, Gaming with Vikings. What is the deal with Vikings and the Games Expo? You've got to tell us that story.
Anyone who's been to UK Games Expo will know that one of their features, highlights, if you want to call it that, is that outside of the Games Expo, outside the NEC, where the expo is held, is a big lake and there is a piece of green land. And for as long as I can remember, there have been Vikings turning up, like a reenactment. So they arrive on the Thursday, Friday, they set up their tents, they've got sword fighting, the kids love it, they camp out, they cook their food, and you can live like a Viking. And sometimes you find them wandering the halls shopping for modern day classics like Raiders of the North Sea. But yeah, so yeah, it comes Games Expo, Vikings. So let's gaming with Vikings.
Okay.
Not that I met a Viking while I was gaming, but there's a little link.
Yeah, so when we were talking about what are we going to call this episode, I was like, how about Gaming with Royalty, right? The British and royalty.
No,
you vetoed that.
Down with the royalty, up with the Vikings.
Up with Vikings.
Pillaging.
Which is interesting because I was thinking about Raiders of the North Sea when you said it. I'm like, okay.
It's my little link.
So I got to ask, have the Vikings at the Games Expo, have they ever invited Shem Phillips to join them?
I don't even know they know that Shem Phillips exists. I just think they turn up to do Viking work, and a few of them play games.
Okay. All right. Well, there you are.
However, that's why we've got Vikings in the title of the show. And I hope that anyone who was at the UK Games Expo last weekend had a great time. Because I have decided it was my favourite expo ever.
You looked like, just from pictures and video clips, you looked like you were in your element.
Yeah, overall, it was just great people, good games, managed to balance, like we talked about in the previous episode, trying not to get stressed because we had too much to do. And yeah, it turned out pretty good. And if my biggest regret was not taking Monday off and having a day off, because I was absolutely broken on Monday, and it was the hardest day of work I've had for a long time. But we got through it. We missed an episode for that week because we just couldn't squeeze it in. So we have got a lot of content to cover this week. So for anyone who was at the show and they saw me, I probably asked, harassed, suggested that would you like to take part in the podcast? So we've got quite a few clips from various Instagrammers that we're going to play throughout this episode. They're only like 30-second segments on people's highlights and what they thought of the UK Games Expo. And then we have a press pass when we go to Games Expo, and we were trying to work out what's the best way of doing content that doesn't take up 2 hours of someone's time by playing through a game. So I decided to record sound bites from various designers and publishers throughout the show and ask them for their elevator pitch. So most of them squeezed it in for 30 seconds. There's a couple who ran over.
There were a few that ran over for sure.
But they're pretty short. But 30 seconds on what the game is, who they were, and what the game's about. So we'll play those, and I'll talk about what I thought about those games, because I played some new releases. I played some games that aren't out yet. So some SM releases that I got a sneak peek at. And there's a story how the cosmos aligns on a certain game that I got to play test that just the odds of it happening blow my mind, and I'll share that towards the end of the episode.
So we got a lot to get through.
Yeah. Overall, really good. I guess before I get into clips, highlights, open gaming as ever. the bring and buy that we spoke about previous
Right.
episodes was an absolute nightmare.
Oh no, what happened?
People wanted to sell games. So I had decided I wasn't taking the games to the expo because I'd sold most of it on Facebook and was doing either posted it or handing over. So I left about 10 games behind and thought, I'll just sell it on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
The queue for drop off, I think, was about 3 to 4 hours.
Wow.
I've never seen so much. At one point, they had to stop dropping off because it was full.
I bet that's because you and I talked about it last year. Everybody heard about it. Clearly, Meeple to Meeple were like, you've got to do it.
That's the thing to do.
That
and
was
then
it.
I didn't even go into bring and buy. Lots of people I know did. But if you were paying, someone said that also had a lengthy, even a couple of hours wait to pay. So crazy amount of stuff. There's quite a lot. There's quite a few reports post expo about people losing games out of the being picked up or not paid for. But when you got
that's not good.
Thousands of games, there's going to be some admin errors. So bring and buy. I think the show had a much more international presence to it. So it just felt like the Games Expo of 2019. So there were some publishers there that I don't think I've seen before. It just felt bigger and better. I think it was the biggest show they've ever done. So it was crazy. Saturday was at points bonkers, the amount of people in the place. Friday was probably my favorite day for grabbing games. So managed to grab. So After Us is out imminently. They've got a UK exclusive box that's got Big Ben on the front, whereas the normal version has got the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Okay.
So they're like, I don't know, 30, 40 of those every day. So I was front of the queue, grab one of those. Managed to grab Earth, and that again sold out every morning. There were 20 copies. So there's some.
I told you it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I played it today for the first time, and
I told you
this is a game that there's a lot going on. Carrie was like, "Man, there's so many things I've got to work through."
Yes.
So again, I grabbed that. So managed to grab, I guess, the things at the hotness. Oh, the Icky expansion, which we've not yet tried, but we did have played Icky standard version this week twice just to get ourselves head around the rules again, which is
absolutely
fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, various other bits and bobs, some button shy games that we'd missed out, some Oink games that we saw. Oh, Marrakesh, actually, which is from Queen Games, which somehow I had missed it through the first 2 days until late Saturday afternoon, by which point they're sold out of the classic big box, which has got all the deluxe components in it. And they had the essential, and I and ahed, and then on Sunday I thought, actually, I don't need all these deluxe bits. I'm just going to go for the standard.
Right.
And we played that today, and that's Stefan Feld, point salad, points everywhere, but very, very enjoyable. So before we get into designers, shall we have a listen to?
So, it's interesting. Yeah. My favorite part. So I also want to thank our listeners who attended the Games Expo. I had been messaging everyone I knew without telling you.
I know.
I was like, you need to find Gareth and take a selfie with him. Or I'm sorry, take an Ussie with Gareth. And so there was a lot of that. And you got to meet a lot of the Instagram community, which was really cool. So with that in mind, why don't we listen to what Max had to say?
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Max. I've been really enjoying UKGE, and my favourite thing so far has been meeting the characters and playing games. I'm really looking forward to watching the performing nerd.
Okay. I love the enthusiasm behind this chat. Why don't we go into design mode? So we've heard from Max. I spoke. So the press event, all of the people there bring their wares to a smaller area, and the very first person I bumped into were the guys behind Zuli, which is this card Sushi Go style drafting game where you're building a zoo. And I did say somebody this week, it's basically Art Nova with cards, who then punched me for being ridiculous. But you are putting enclosures down and filling it with animals. Let's take a listen to what they've got to say.
Yes, let's do it.
Published by Unfringed. Zuli is a fast but deceptively strategic card game where you're collecting animals, enclosures, and upgrades to build the highest scoring wildlife park you can. Ages 8+, 15 to 20 minutes to play.
So this game completely surprised me because on the artwork, it just looks kind of kiddie.
Right.
But we played it about 4 times at the show, and we've played it twice since we've been home because it's that kind of Sushi Go speed of game. You draft, you keep back either animals or enclosures. You've got some rules like you can't put fierce animals that eat each other together. You can't put fierce animals with happy animals. The different bit is that after you have got your, let's say, 8 cards, you complete your enclosures. You're not doing your enclosures like putting animals into different pens until the end of the round. And then you draft a game. And when you finish that draft, you can reset everything. So you can move it all around. So basically, after 3 rounds, building this epic zoo where all animals need to live in harmony. The animals have got combo scoring points. A lot of people called it the game of the expo last year. Personally, for me, that was Acropolis. But man, it's a lot of fun. So if you get a chance, Zulli, Zulli.
Zulli.
Fantastic small drafting game.
Very nice. Very nice indeed.
Unfringed Games. Go and check it out.
Cool.
So straight after that, I played Mycelia. I hope I've pronounced that right.
Mycelia is correct. This
have
game,
you seen?
I have seen it. It looks awesome. I told my wife, I was like, we need to, if we can get a copy of Gen Con, we've got to do it because.
So it's not on Kickstarter until I think September time ish.
Okay.
Now
it looks awesome.
Luckily, Nick from Board Game UK had a copy at Gen Con, which I think I spoke about in that show.
Yeah.
So I had a chance to talk to the designer.
So for those who didn't listen, that's Gen Con with a J.
With a J. So let's have a listen to the designer and see what the 30-second elevator pitch is all about.
I'm Jack from Splitstone Games, and this is my game Mycelia, the strategic mushroom game. And it's all about the life cycle of mushrooms, growing mushrooms to score points, scoring those mushrooms to expand your network, and then eventually seeing those mushrooms to decay to unlock special actions. And it's a dynamic game. You can expand the board by adding tiles, and it's a very tactical game and full of jeopardy. And yeah.
So this game is my cup of tea, or my cup of mushroom tea. You've kind of got this wind mechanic that's drafting the spores around the table. The artwork is to absolutely die for. I think it's beautifully illustrated. I think I met 3 separate groups of players who'd done a playtest during the weekend who were all raving about it. And if you did visit the stand and you look at the Instagram photographs, there's this giant mushroom hat that people were wearing.
I saw that.
Which is a lot of fun. I have got this on watch. It will definitely be backed. Part of the Southampton group of our gaming group, we talk about not backing the same games. And on this one, we've all gone, no, I want my own copy. So that's good thumbs up from us, from those who played at the Games Expo. And it's about mushrooms, which seems to be a fungi topic. That's terrible.
Which is interesting. So it really conjured up images of Star Trek Discovery. I know you're not a Star Trek fan, but the whole engine on the Discovery is run on a mycelial network of spores that allows the ship to just jump from place to place. And that was the first thing that conjured my mind, even though it was clearly mushrooms.
I can see.
I was like, oh my God, this is great, So
because the wind blows and the spores drift across the board. I mean, there's more to it than that, but you as you heard in the clip.
Yes, Mycelia.
So
back it soon on Kickstarter.
We can put a link. Well, when it goes live, we can discuss it. Maybe we can try and get a review copy.
Ooh.
The next one I laughed about because one of the most longest games I now own is Europa Universalis. If you were to play it in full, I hear it's like a 2-day. Each day is like 5-6 hours. It's epic.
Okay.
You need a weekend.
Okay.
And there is so much going on. And I stopped at that stand and said, "You've got 30 seconds to explain this game." And he looked at me and went, "I can do this." So let's take a listen to whether he does achieve this in 30 seconds.
I'm Victor from UKGE Games, and this is the Europa Universalis, a sandbox historic game in which you can do whatever you want. You have 16 nations with their own events, and you can just dream what you want to do and just do it. You have to put down a lot of fires, but you're going to be able to recreate history however you want. You can follow it on, you can do whatever you want. You have technologies, you have events, you have milestones, you have crusades, the HRE, you have papal curia, you have religions, you have administrative power, diplomatic power, military power, anything you want, you have it in Europa Universalis for how long you want.
Right, so it was over 30 seconds.
It was.
However, he manages to bring to life the core of this beyond epic 4X game that has yet to hit my table. I have a friend who's played it, and we just need to arrange for that friend to arrive and then teach us.
Nice.
We have got a weekend planned where I think all of us have got
you're going to play
2.5 days off, and we'll play it, and then we'll go home and we'll come back and finish it off.
To be honest, even listening to him, I still have so many questions.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try. I've read the rule book once and went, I just need to sit down and play this. They recommend that everyone has read the rule book at least once, and one person has read it like 3 times and gets the grip. There's so many side things that go on. But yeah, that was fun. So they're the ones that I picked up on the press event. There are others I talked to, but they're the 3 that I managed to record. Let's take a listen to another part of the Instagram community. This time, this is the brother of Max. This is George.
Hi, I'm George, and I love UKGE. I'm excited for the dark room and also the performing nerd. And I love looking at board games. We have over 360, and we still got room for more.
So George has got a lot of games. He loves his games.
Oh my God!
I believe there's more space available for more games. I'd like to see how many more games are required. I don't believe there were many.
I feel like if he ever were to come to my house, he'd judge me for not having enough games.
So once you got into the expo itself over the Friday, there were games which I hadn't heard of, which I find it's just great. This discovering smaller publishers, designers, and chatting about games. And I was chatting to Max Boardrunner, who said, "Had I seen Solar Sphere?" And I was like, "I've seen it over the last couple of years. It was a Kickstarter, maybe a year and a half ago." And because it's a space theme, it's those games that don't, Carrie doesn't like space games.
Yep.
But I walked up and they were doing a demo and talked briefly about some Zolking on steroids-y thing. This has got Daiso. So that I didn't quite hit a context, but it captured the imagination. And so I then watched the rest of the playthrough and went, yeah, this game, it won Best Dice Mechanic, I think, at the expo. And again, it's got the Kickstarter bundle with the play mat and the expansion for a good price. So that ended up in my bag. Let's have a listen to what they had to say about that.
Yeah.
My name's Aidan Lowther. I work for Transit Games, and this game is Solar Sphere. It's a dice placement game about building a Dyson sphere where you're trying to extract all the energy from the sun. It's a dice placement, engine building, semi-cooperative, and it recently won the UK Games Expo Dice Award.
So that was great. Why don't we take a second and listen to what Susie and Jenny had to say about their experience at the expo?
Let's go for it.
I'm Susie from Games with Beanie. My highlight for the UK Games Expo weekend was getting to play Forbidden Jungle at the Cold Spring Games stand and getting to meet all the Instagamers I hadn't met yet, including Dennis of Ordinary Board Games and Angel.
Hi, my name's Jenny. I'm from Board Game Family UK. I'm loving the expo, especially meeting all the people from Instagram.
I love it. And if I'm not mistaken, so you picked up Susie. Susie actually got to ride with you.
Susie was I was chauffeur for the weekend because of, so there was a massive train strike. So one of the complexities of the UK was that the trains weren't running. People were hard getting in. So sometimes people got let in because the car park was just rammed. So for a lot of people, there was just extra stress from the travel. And of course, then we heard from Jenny a second ago, who is Jenny GenCon with a J.
Yeah.
And Jenny organises loads of these little Instagram conventions in the UK. So she is, heart and soul of a lot of things that the Instagram community do.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you so much. So I want to ask you, but it was representatives of Spiel des Jahres was at the expo, right?
Yeah, so they were so I came across their stand in the corner, and I was like, what's this stand about? Because they had all the nominations for the 3 awards. They weren't selling anything, but I thought I'd just see what they're up to. So let's take a listen to what they had to say and why they're at the show.
Hi there, I'm Manuel Fritsch from the Spiel des Jahres jury. We're the first time here at the UK Game Expo to show all the nominees for this year's Game of the Year and Kennerspiel des Jahres, which is Spiel des Jahres and Kennerspiel des Jahres, and also the kids games, which is Kinderspiel des Jahres. And it's very exciting to see. We wanted to test out and see if the British people and the UK people know our award, and it's a very high praise we get here. A lot of people come by and they know the Spiel des Jahres, they know the award, which is very nice for us to see. And you can come by and demo the game if you want to. So we're happy. We're all weekend here.
So I think they'll be back. They were very enthusiastic. When I was standing there, people were coming up asking about the nominations. So I think it's just raising awareness of the awards. And they'd said to me when we were chatting, how important was the Spiel des Jahres? And I said, I think everyone talks about it as soon as the nominations come out. It is a huge marker of, I guess, the hotness, the games that are worth checking out.
Absolutely.
Icky's in the list this year, so and so is Planet Unknown. So
and so is Next Station London.
Oh yeah, it is.
Which Katie and I, if we're not playing it on BGA, we're playing it on our table. Oh my god,
that's a game that I haven't picked up. But I was talking to somebody about the new version.
Tokyo is awesome.
So they said if you're not into roll and write, they felt that the Tokyo was probably not for new gamers.
Interesting.
Which was interesting. That was from the designers of Zuli. That they said it just needed to have a good concept of. So if you're an experienced roll and writer or flip and write, you're okay. So I haven't tried it, so I can't comment really. So let's take a listen to 2 more of the Instagram community. This time we're going to hear back to back from Craig and from Nick.
Hey, this is Craig from Getting to Games. The best thing so far has been the Robot Quest Arena at Wise Wizard Games. It's incredible. It's Robot Wars the game.
Hi, I'm Nick from Board Game Review UK, and I'm at the UK Games Expo having lots of fun. I've seen my awesome new games, Mycelia. I've caught up with the old King's Crown, which also looks absolutely fantastic. And I've just met the designer of Acropolis, one of my favourite games of last year, Jules Missot. I got his autograph on a first player token, and I've got my photo with him, and I couldn't be happier. Plus, I get to meet a lot of the Instagram community.
Well, what an enthusiastic couple of gentlemen.
Never disappoint. I love these guys.
So honestly, one of the funnest things was putting these mics on people, and quite a few people walked off because they, a little bit shy, and so I hadn't heard what they said until I got home and started playing these clips back. So always bringing a smile to my face. So one of the games which was being demoed for a Kickstarter launch back end of the year was Joyride. Now, Joyride, if I sum it up, is a mixture of cars racing around the track in Mario style, blowing themselves up, but with the kind of those apocalyptic car Armageddon trucks racing through the desert kind of settings. I didn't get to play. I just had a run through, but all of the Southampton crew did, and they loved it. I'll put some photographs on the Instagram account so people can see it. But let's check out what they had to say.
Absolutely.
I am Pete Ward, and I am the co-designer of Joyride and work for Rebellion Unplugged. Joyride is a Mad Max meets Mario Kart style racing game for 2 to 4 players, where you're going to be racing around the track, trying to beat your opponents through the gates and to the finish line, crashing into each other, firing rockets at each other, dropping oil slicks and mines in each other's way, doing whatever you can to gain advantages for yourself and screw over your friends. So it's a lot of fast-paced, action-packed racing fun.
So my impression and my takeaway, I don't know if you remember this, although you might. There was an old Sony PlayStation game called Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then there was a sequel. That's what I thought about, because like you've got these cars and you're fighting, but you're racing, and
yeah, I mean,
that was the image that conjured up in my head.
So yeah, you got kind of I think it was 4-player plus on like the full side of the board, and if you flip the board over, there was like a 2-player track. So they squeeze the space out, and the amount of customization where the start line is, when you pick up rockets and you fire a rocket in a straight line, you can spin the cards out of control. So just like in Mario Kart, where you think you're ahead and someone just nudges your back tire, you go spinning across the track. It looked like a lot of fun. Production levels were top notch as well. So
that's cool.
Check out Joyride at the back end of
Joyride. I love it. So let's listen to another group from the Instagram community. I'm interested in what these guys have to say, and it's Sam and Gareth, and that's other Gareth.
The other Gareth.
The other Gareth. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sam from S vs J Board Games, and we've had an amazing UKGE. Our highlights have been playing Heat, Pedal to the Metal, Moon, and the Old King's Crown.
Hi, I'm Gareth at Ice and Dice Games on Instagram. Here at my first UK Expo. Absolutely loved it. It's an amazing, inclusive, safe space where everyone can be their best self and just do what they love doing, playing games with their friends and new colleagues, and what a great place to be.
Very sensible from the other Gareth.
Right?
And yeah, honestly, I had the pleasure of hanging out most of the weekends playing games. Sam, who I've not played games with before, was great company with his wife Jess. And I taught those guys Cat in a Box, which I actually taught to quite a few people over the weekend.
Cool.
That was in my bag. That's probably the game I carried around the most, just because it was a reasonably quick filler. And I find that game a lot of fun. So there's a little plug for Cat in a Box as well.
So here's a question for you. Were there a lot of, and did you get to see a lot of, were there a lot of married couples and families at the expo?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is a real family event, particularly on the Saturday.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, kids galore. There's a treasure hunt where you get a bit of paper and the kids have to wander around looking for clues to enter into a prize. It's geared for families.
Perfect.
So yeah, spot on. Really, really good.
That's cool. So you've talked about in previous episodes, you and I have just been in the course of our friendship, you talk a lot about Oink Games, and I know they were there. Okay, so I bet you got a chance to talk to them, right?
Yeah, I did. So on my list of things I would like to acquire was a game that I'd seen maybe 2 or 3 months ago pop up somewhere. I think it might be on Instagram. A game called Make the Difference, which is a game where you've got sheets of like doodles.
Okay.
Cut, like line doodles.
Right.
And then as a player, you basically have to draw like a black line. And then the other players need to spot where you've made the difference. So spot the difference game.
Okay.
You get this sheet of plastic that you lay over the original just to try and remove any, like people can see maybe where you've got a residue of ink. So it just distorts it slightly. If you have bought the game and you didn't know, they do end up a little bit warped. Put them in hot water and put a book on it, and they'll be flat top tip. And that was a lot of fun. And then I thought, well, let's find out what's going on in the world of Oink. So let's take a listen.
Hi, so my name's Toby Meany. I work for Oink Games. We're at the UK Games Expo 2023. Our highlight of the game, or our new game this year, is Make the Difference. And our main draws for this show are obviously, naturally, like everybody says, the people, but also the food trucks. And this year, there's some great new exhibitors from outside of the UK or even outside of Europe, which is fantastic.
So as ever, I mean, not only did I pick up Make a Difference, but we picked up a few of the other games as well. Now these games aren't cheap. They're little boxes, and they're all around £18-20.
Wow.
But they end up being games that we just throw in our bag. I was at a family barbecue yesterday, and we pulled out a couple of those games. So we always stop at the Oink stand. And I did manage to grab the expansion, 2 dice and some little special edition gold, silver, bronze divers for Deep Sea Adventure, which I think was limited stock. It wasn't new for this year. I think it might have been last year, but it just adds a little bit more to Deep Sea Adventure game, which is probably the most popular Oink game in the series. So let's jump back to our Instagram community and let's hear what Dan and another Max, a much older Max, has to say about the UK Games Expo.
Dan and Max.
Hi, I'm Dan, boardgamist, and this is my second con of the year. First big con that I've ever been to, UKGE, and I've absolutely loved it. I've got a copy of Outlive and a copy of After Us, much anticipated, from Hachette, and the people have been brilliant. And yeah, make sure you get down, know some people, take it easy, and it's been fantastic. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Max from Boardrunner. I've been working on the Hachette stand for the past couple of days. I spent the Friday morning going around with my mate Steve and checking out all the events and all the board games, and it was great fun. And now, for the last couple of days, I've been working with Hachette, demoing all their games. I've had a great time showing people how to play Acropolis, Orichalcum, many others. After Us is a great one to watch. So keep an eye out for the new Hachette games. And we've even finished tonight with 10-player Six Nimmt and 11-player Night of the Ninja. I love the community. It's such great fun playing all the big player games. So if you can try and get down to the expo, that's where you'll find all the big player games.
Now, I mean, Dan is the board gamist. So Dan has done the Board Game Olympics. We managed to get some games in. So we chatted over the weekend, just going, right, are we going to be able to get some time together? And we played a game called Kavango. So
I saw you post pictures of that. So it looks like Wingspan with like animals, not just birds.
Yeah, and at one point I did say I enjoy this more than Wingspan.
Ooh.
Now, so this is again a Kickstarter later in the year. Gareth, the other Gareth, has been talking to the designing team and the publisher, and they had kindly given Gareth a review copy to carry round to get us to play it as long as we took it back on Sunday. So Gareth has given the game back. So on Sunday morning, we sat down and played this game with myself, Gareth, Elena, and mostly solo, and Dan, boardgamist. And yeah, it's a bit like Earth, where you've got a fixed grid, and the game comes to ends when bits are all filled in. It's just slightly more complex than Wingspan, but lots of elements from it, like the cards, animals. But you're building sets, you're putting habitat down. I was really impressed. I know I've seen I think Nick's just got a copy to do some preview work on. So yeah, I haven't got a snippet for those guys, but Kavango, Kavango.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you're looking at still photos of board games, it doesn't give you a sense, a true sense. And so I'm looking at it and I'm like, this looks like, visually, looks like Wingspan. There's lots of animals. So that's interesting.
Yeah, worth checking out.
That's a cool experience. I'm glad that Gareth was able to make that happen.
Yeah, and it's really good that I guess a publisher design team let him take a copy off the stand. I think he'd been and played it on the stand in the morning, and then said, "Can I borrow it?" So yeah, fantastic for them to let us at least sit down and try it out.
So I understand, and I'm really excited because I know you got to talk to him, and we've had him he was our first guest.
He was
on the show. You got to speak with Richard from Folded Space, right? How did that go?
Well, first of all, because we did the podcast videoed him, but with a headset on and a mic, I couldn't recognize him. I was like, is Richard here? And then they said, yes, there he is. So, so then, yeah, chatted, went through things we talked about in the podcast. So we looked at Frosthaven expansion, had a really interesting conversation about printing and the complexities of grey, which is really hard to print, and how hard black is to print, and how colour is a lot easier. So that was really interesting, and that's probably... So we've agreed that Richard will get the time right. We'll come back on the show and we'll talk about the complexity of printing grey and black on a different day. But let's have a listen to what Richard had to say about the products they had at the show.
Okay, so I'm Richard from Folded Space. We're here at UK Games Expo. We've got a lot of our new products here on show. Today we released an insert for the game Revive, an insert for Frostpunk. We've got more inserts every day. There's a really cool one here for Undaunted Stalingrad I was going to show you. We're doing more and more color inserts, 2 or 3 color inserts every month. So by the end of the year, the expansion of the range is going to be huge. So yeah, more to go, yeah.
You know, he is by far one of the most professional, knowledgeable, and interesting people to talk to.
Yeah, really good chat.
Just listening to him, it conjured back to our episode with him. And I'm like, man, Richard's cool. I can't wait to meet him.
The stand's a really wide stand at the show. And I went past on Sunday mid-morning, and you can buy all the Folded Space, and the amount of things that were sold out of stock. They are really popular as a storage solution. So if you haven't checked out Folded Space and you want some storage solutions for your games, go and check it out. So I said earlier about the cosmos colliding and things happening for a reason. So this is bizarre. So on Saturday, so I'd seen that Ignacy from Portal Games was at the show. There was no Portal stand this year because there were no new releases, but he was at the UK Games Expo, and he kept popping up on various social media channels with the next release, which will be at Essen, called Imperial Miners. Now, this game is in the set in the world of Imperial Settlers, but is not part of that. It's not expansion. It's a standalone game. And I was like, man, I really, really want to try and check this out. But wherever he was, I was never in the same place. So anyway, we went for dinner on the Saturday night, which meant that side story, we find it very difficult to get tables because it's eating or gaming space. So we went to eat quite early, and then at the UK Games Expo, there's opposite after the Vikings, there's like a shopping complex with food outlets. It's where generally you go to. So we'd had food, we'd come back, and I was looking at the water, oblivious, and Carrie goes, "There's Ignacy," and I was like, "Oh!" And I turned around and then ran after him and just say, "It's Gareth," and he said, "No." I said, "We played back in about 2017-18. We had a chance to play Detective before it was released."
Oh, cool.
Where again, Ignacy was telling you to meet somewhere. They'd booked out hotel rooms, and you went there basically with a group of people to play Detective. So he said, he remembered me, and I said, "Look, I'm really up for checking out Imperial Miners." When? And he said, "We can do it tomorrow. I've got to record a podcast, but I'll move it back." And he said, "Where should we meet?" And I said, "Hall 3, outside, 10 o'clock. We can exchange emails." It was a date.
Nice.
Anyway, next morning comes along, I meet him, and he said, "You will not believe it." And he was so excited. I said, "What?" And he goes, "About 100 yards after I bumped into you, I bumped into Rory, who was the other player when we played Detective, who also wanted to play Imperial Miners."
Wow.
So me and Rory got the gang back together and played Imperial Miners. And it's weird that 35,000 people and the public happen to be within this amount of space, walking past at the same time to bump into a designer and obviously the CEO of Portal Games to make the magic happen. And we sat down and absolutely loved it.
Yep.
Engine builder. You've got a mine at the top. You're coming down, playing. You're playing. I think it was 10. I'm going to say 10 rounds, 10 cards. Every round, you're just playing one card out of your hands. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 cards, and then whenever you put the card down at a level, you basically trace your way back up. So you're building this combo-tastic chain of different like rooms in the mine, and from what I heard from you'll hear it from Ignacy. It's been very well received. And it's Nessun release. And I just love how the cosmos aligns to let me check that out on a Sunday morning. So let's hear what Ignacy had to say.
My name is Ignacy Trzewicek. I work for Portal Games, and I came to UK Game Expo to present my new game, the new game from Portal Games. It's called Imperial Miners. I spent the whole 2 days playing with press and media, presenting the game, and the feedback is very positive. So I'm coming back today home very happy and very proud. The feedback is very, very good.
Wow. Right. That's divine providence is what that is.
Yeah. It was just really good fun. I I've got a soft spot for kind of that engine builder, and it all just starts to combo.
Right.
And there were things towards the end that I've just got some of these cards. I was like, this is point scoring epicness. So yeah, that's a game that I'll need to be acquiring and at the back end of Essen. Which isn't far away.
No, it's not. So let's hear from Elena and George next. How about that?
So George has broken the rules with my 30 seconds. George just went for 1.5 minutes.
This does not surprise me at all.
Let's listen to Elena and George's points that he wanted to share, which is beyond amazing. Thanks to both of them.
So, I'm Elena, mostly solo, and I'm here at the UK Games Expo for the first time ever, because I've never been. And I really like it, especially the open gaming, because there's no open gaming in Essen.
George from at Boundary Stone Games here. Highlights of the show for me. I think there's probably break them into about 3 different things. One, meeting up with Insta friends. Obviously, there's the normal Wednesday crew who I see you folk all the time, but it's also the other Instagram crew, catching up with those and just having a few games and just chewing the fat. Great, I love it. 2, seeing some of the new releases, some of the new upcoming games that are there. For example, the highlight for me has been Mycelia, which is coming to Kickstarter in September, and the artwork on that is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I love it, and it plays a really nice game too. And I think the other side of it as well is just seeing some innovation. So another one that I'll mention is for your carrying your miniatures really, and it's a company called tabletoptech.com. They have some really funky gear out there, and it's really worth having a look at their website. And then I think finally for me is actually where I've met a load of the designers of the games that I've backed on Kickstarter. So Morton from Viking Raiders, it was great to chew the fat with him. The guys from Beast, who I think Gareth you used to be speaking to. Again, just to say that I've backed their game and just have a little bit of an insight into the design process from them. I just really love all of that, just understanding a little bit more about the game. So yeah, it's been a great show, really.
So Elena's one of the Instagram community that we all made friends with through lockdown.
Right.
So mostly solo, known for her animations, stop motion animations. And then George is a friend who we introduced to board games just after lockdowns all sort of come to end, and we've played with ever since. Really good summary of why the expo's about, whether it's particularly George talking about how he's met some of the people he's backed on some of the smaller games and how important it is for them to reach out and meet people who've helped them become a success.
Elena and I have become friends because of you. I think she came down. She came down and you met the first time you met her was at like an Instagram meetup.
I think it might have been one of Nick's events. Again, it was an Instagram community event with international guests.
Yeah. And then she and I started talking, and she was really intrigued by the fact that you and I have been friends for a couple of years and we've never met. She thought that was fascinating. She and I we really started our friendship started when we were talking about the way Americans and the Dutch express the holidays, like the way we decorate our homes. And she was talking about her holidays, and then it was really interesting. So it was great to see her and talk to her there and hear her just now. So it was pretty cool. So again, I think you talked to the designer, right? One of the up and coming designers for Micro Dojo. Yeah.
Micro Dojo. Yeah. So I'd seen Micro Dojo through Rolling Realms.
Yes. Yeah.
And never played it, and then had an invite during before the show to go and talk to I think it was Ben, the designer. And he told me a story around how his game came about. So he had the idea. It's a really small form wrestling game. And he worked out that he could ship this envelope, which is basically one punch board's worth of content in a kind of A5 envelope around the world for like a few pounds. So he ran a Kickstarter and was really successful and got that game out into the big bad world. And then made a proper mini box, game that retailers could have. He's just done a Kickstarter expansion. So from a very simple idea of trying to get his game out in an envelope to then having the game, produced in a proper box, it's a really just fun little game. And last year we picked up a game called Mini Ninjas from Ilato, which we'll hear in a minute. But these guys, it felt a perfect game when you've got two people, you're away, you're traveling. The box is nice and small. So let's hear a little bit about Micro Dojo.
So hi, I'm Ben from Downton with Prometheus Game Labs, here at UK Games Expo with Micro Dojo and its expansion, with Microbots, and for the first time, 99 Ninja.
So if you want a small form game, go and check out Micro Dojo, a publisher who also has been, every time I've been to the show, who's been growing. It's been Eleto, Eleto. Eleto. I just now think, how do I even pronounce that? But Adam is on Instagram.
Yep.
He has created a publisher company and has had some really nice games. This year, introduced me to Doomlings, which is a really big Kickstarter kind of card drafting, tableau building game, which we have played a lot since we've come back. It's really fast paced. They're the guys behind Mini Ninja. They've got a tabletop golf game. Adam also broke his back this year by falling over a tree stump. So it was great to see him moving around up and about, because it could have been very different. But let's hear what Adam's got to say.
Hi, it's Adam from Eleto Games. We're here at UK Games Expo. This is our second year and we are absolutely shattered, but we're loving demoing some of our new games for the publishers that we have. Some of the highlights has been Doomlings, the card game. We've got the table golf Dexterity. But ultimately, loving meeting new people, playing games. We distribute for Grandpa Beck's, Fox Mines, and Tim Fowler's games, plus more. But that's a little bit of us in a nutshell.
Yeah, so Doomlings kind of, I don't know, because I had never met him. I don't know if he was there at Gen Con. I'm sure he was last year. But a lot of people were talking about Doomlings and it was getting ready to come out, and now it's...
Yeah, so that's those guys, they had the Doomlings marketing team over in the UK, and they were working out the Gen Con trip, so they're definitely going to be there again. I'd completely missed it. Whether it's card based, it's kind of looks, it's all colourful, but I managed to take a copy, and it's got a core box. There's a deluxe box. In the deluxe boxes, there's 3 foil cards, which are randomly put in, which in theory, if you went and bought enough deluxe boxes, you could end up making a deck of just foil cards, which I suppose is what people try to do.
Well,
so there's crazy prices for some of these cards, but go and check it out. It's a lot of fun, fast paced. I was quite surprised by that one.
Okay, so I'm listening to all this. I'm looking at the map, the floor plan of the NEC. And I realized that Funko has like a huge footprint. At least it looks like it. And I know that you went there.
Yeah. So inside
tell me about
Hall
that.
2,
Yeah.
There's some big old zones, like Warhammer had a massive amount of space because you could paint minis. So
sure,
you had gaming. If you're into RPGs or into miniatures, you could do. It's not just about board games, but yeah, Funko, which I guess are famous for, Funko Pop figures. They've released numerous games over the last few years. A bit more, I guess, mainstream market. Had suggested that I pop along and have a chat, so I did. We'll listen to the audio in a moment. But they had a game that I saw released or highlighted, maybe not released at Comic-Con, which was Star Wars Rivals, which is a 2-player back and forth game. Core box comes with, I think it's 3 minis, but then blister packs. Now, the blister packs are blind, so that does go, oh, like, this feels like a money pit. But the game itself, I thought was really good. One of my favourite games, I went, wow, look at that, was a game based on Indiana Jones.
Saw a lot of pictures from the expo, and it looked really cool.
Yeah, basically had this tower with 2 carts on it, and it was card playing, action, moving your Indiana or the other characters to different spots, taking the action. And the game, you're doing that, but at the moment you get put gems inside these containers, and the moment it flips, the sand timer starts to run, and then you've got to beat the bad guy. So one of the guys from like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right.
So it's kind of got this intense, we've got to start playing cards until you kill the baddie, or if you don't kill the baddie, you go to the second round. Really a lot of fun. Really got it to table Friday. Again, these games are sometimes, they don't hit the more broad gamer market, more family oriented. Right. But there's a Jurassic Park game theme we had last year that's also really good. So definitely worth checking out some of the Funko stuff. Their Cranium, which I said to him I'd never played, and it's like it was really big in America a while ago.
Huge in America.
So
like a long time ago, like my teenage years into early adulthood, Cranium was like the family game. It was really cool.
So they had the 25-year anniversary edition. So that is ready for a games night with friends and family who want to make a fool for themselves. I think we'll hear from Instagram community guys who was playing it in the hall with no worries about some of the things they're trying to do to win points.
25 years ago.
25 years. So yeah, so really, really good, really engaging. Probably the most enthusiastic group of as a publisher, particularly engaging with the press on what they had to say. So big presence, loads of releases, and yeah, just really fun chatting to those guys. Yeah, so let's take a listen to what the Funko team had to say.
Hello, I'm Stefan from Funko Games. We are here at UK Game Expo 2023. First time we are exhibiting. We are very excited. We have so many new games for the fans. The first one is Cranium 25 anniversary. We are relaunching the Cranium game. We have 3 other titles in the Cranium collection for kids, for family. Everybody have something. We are also launching our Indiana Jones collection. We have Indiana Jones Sands of Adventure, which is a collaborating city party game. We have Indiana Jones Cryptic, which is sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Escape box, escape room in a box. So you are resolving clues and finding where to dig and all these kind of things. And then one of our pièces de resistance is Star Wars Rival, our new collectible collection game. And you are playing with all the characters from the Star Wars universe. It's fast, it's quick and simple, it's beautiful. The dice is in the shape of a kyber crystal, so the fan loves all the lore, the loyalty to the lore. And yeah, we have so many games, I can't describe all of them. Rear Window, Big Brain. So check the website, funkogameeurope.com and funkoeurope.com game. And then you'll see all the goodness in the offering.
So as I said, loads of releases. Go check out.
Loads. Wow.
Yeah, really good. A game that was present again this year at the expo that's on Kickstarter right now is a game called Horror in the Library.
Horror in the Library. Okay.
I think it was released this time last year as well. It didn't fund last year.
Okay.
And I was talking to the designer and the publisher, and it's a great example where publishers gone away, reflected on the price. They've re-engineered the components. They've changed the art. They've simplified the packaging, but at the same time managed to bring the cost down. But actually, from when I saw, the quality of the artwork has stepped up. It's not quite funded on Kickstarter at the moment, but let's have a listen to the guys behind Horror in the Library.
Hi, I'm Marcus Bullen from Blues Alert Games, and we have got a Kickstarter project
starting today, and that is about Horror in the Library, which is a Victorian-themed horror game for families. It's a tile-based card collecting game where you explore the library, rotate the rooms, look for secrets in pages. The first person to get all their secrets wins the game.
Now, we had a blast with this game, running around, chasing down monsters. The game has got square tiles, like a 3x3 grid, and with little knob, which you lift and you turn the tile to basically make the doors go into nowhere. So you're trying to deal with the monsters and also just upset your neighbours. Yeah, chaotic but a lot of fun. And so with that, why don't we have a listen to another George, a different George this time, perspective of the expo.
Hello, my name is George, and my Instagram is boardgameboard. This year was my first time visiting UKGE. I came with a friend, and we both came away from the weekend having thoroughly enjoyed the experience. While there, I played and saw loads of new and interesting games. From the heated negotiation of a game of coalitions, which involved me, Britain, being abandoned by my only ally, Russia, played by none other than Cole Worley, designer of Root, to playing some games that I normally wouldn't get to play and probably wouldn't own, like Star Wars Armada, where the blend of theme and mechanics really hit the sweet spot for me. Most of all, everyone I talked to and played games with was so kind and welcoming, especially to a newcomer like me. To the stranger that recommended we buy Project L, thank you, it's as good as you made it sound. Overall, it was such a good weekend, and I am very thankful to everyone there, exhibitor, organiser, or visitor, who made it so.
So many Georges.
That's three Georges, two Gareths. I mean, what,
There we go.
It's a full house.
Yeah. So I remember you did it was a Meeple Monday. Probably this was a while ago.
Yeah.
But you got to talk with Aaron from Studio Mid-Hall. They were getting ready, if memory serves, they were getting ready to release on Kickstarter or Beast. And you got to talk to him, right?
Yeah. So again, that international vibe. Those guys were there. Went to say hello. I'd spoken to all of them on various calls. Both we were doing games online through Tabletop during the setup, and just got to go and hang out. We took some photographs. I got some words from Aaron on the game. Cut that. Got some words on the game, and we talked about the expansion that is coming out again about September time. So let's hear what they've got to say.
My name is Aaron Mid-Hall. I'm one of the designers of the board game Beast, and I'm here with my company Studio Mid-Hall to demo the game, present the game, find a lot of cool beasts and hunters around here, and present the expansion a little bit. Brand new world, brand new beasts, brand new hunters.
When's that out?
That's out. The crowdfunding campaign on GameFound launches September 19th.
It is really good to see that game being played constantly. They sold out of all their copies they brought to the show. Again, a success story of hidden movement and running after eating humans and sheep as a beast.
Beast is a beast.
Beast is a beast. So it's just good to see those guys making a success of the show. Yeah, so from one complicated game like Beast, I had the absolute pleasure of going and talking to Bez, also known as Stuff by Bez, about her games and how that has evolved. Now, I say evolved because I met Bez, I think, in one of my first expos when I started attending as press and running my Instagram account. And at the time, I was trying to work out, well, what content do I produce? Is it just a photo? Is it a video? And I come up with this little mini review format of taking a photograph and then basically scoring different elements of it. And I think it was the Wibble game, which is a card game, was the very first review in that format. And Bez very kindly gave me feedback, critiqued it. Let's jump forward, let's say 7 or 8 years. I asked Bez to talk through where the company's got now, and her set of games. Now, I let this one go because you're going to hear about 15 of the fastest summaries of everything that's been released. And every time I go and meet Bez and listen to talk to the stands, I'm just blown away by the creativity and the content that he's produced. So let's hear what Bez has to say.
Hi, I'm Bez, and I make stuff, so I'm Soft by Bez. Best known for Yogi, the best party game of physical constraints. Finger touching nose, ear, the card on head, and then you do more and it gets ridiculously silly. The L deck, 26 letters, more games than that. And in a tiny little box. It's back in print after 2 years. You've got a game about quickly grabbing creatures that's no different than counting your turnips or beetroots or radishes if you like speed games, but you hate not getting to grab your own stuff. A game about quickly matching words to words, but never words to words or pictures to pictures if you want to jump through that little bit of extra hoop and have extra chaos with 2 players. Sice and Inklo and Rights Anthology is still around. I made one of the games. A game about drawing creatures, complementing the drawings and complementing the complements is one of the most beautiful games I've ever made, where it's really training to see the beauty in people. A game about whimsical or comical or seriously surreal creatures and trying to identify them after some mixed noises. It's one of my more popular things, and people have just been flocking to that all weekend long. I'm really excited by that. I've got a game about contact shapes and colours that keeps getting trickier. If you like speed games, but you hate that one person keeps winning, this one, it's the winner keeps getting punished, and then when they get 5 punishments, they win. A game about auctioning cubes after winning an auction to become the auctioneer. Do you like struggling to work out what something's worth? Do you like the potential to lose on the first turn? Do you like being able to extort money out of your friends? This is a game for you. A game about words that rhyme with terrible rules online. If you like being a little bit creative and silly. A game about quickly grabbing cards and judging them against free descriptions. If you like the domino bits and comparing notes with your friends. A game about sets and scenarios that people do for different lengths of time, being silly, mad libs, and starting conversations. A game about writing words, aiming to match other folk exactly 3 times. Match once for 1 point, twice for 2 points, 3 for 4 points. 3 times you match, you go bust. So you've got to be good, but not too good. And finally, there's a game about selecting 7 cards, speedily searching for synergies. It's a beautiful drafting game, in my biased opinion, but it only takes 5 minutes. And that's just the games that I have out right now. And I've not even talked about the games of the future. Hashtag drawn together game. I am Bez. This is my stuff.
Now, I'll let you catch your breath because that was a whistle-stop tour of the games.
Yeah, there were so many games. I was like, okay, I'm trying to write them down. I'm like, okay, what? I need to look them up later. Like, there's just so many.
Board Game Geek, Fine Designer, and all the games listed.
It's interesting. Wibble is the game that really intrigues me because it's got a player kind of 1 to 15, so you could be solo, but you can also play with like 14 of your friends. Right? I think it's crazy.
All of these games have got a good player count. There's a game which I think was last year about making noises. This year there was a newer version, which again I took to a family barbecue yesterday, and I had everybody making animal, creature, crazy impressions, and everyone's like, because people got to get out of their comfort zones because you've got to make noises. But just check out these games. They're small boxes in envelopes sometimes, or just in a poly bag, a zip bag, for like £3 or £4 or £5. It's just a lot of fun, nothing too serious, but really good games for all the family, and creativity through the roof. So go and check out Bez and everything that she has got to offer.
So let's go ahead and hear from Dan.
Hi guys, Dan from DB Games here. Talking about UK Games Expo, it was my first one with a press pass for DB Games, and it was absolutely amazing. The best part for me was meeting all the friends and people I know from Instagram and getting to play games with them and seeing them. And also some standout games for me were some of the really fun ones I played. I got Funko Games played, Cranium 25th edition, which was just crazy and doing stupid stuff in the middle of a hall filled with thousands of people. It was just such a laugh. Playing games like NG44, which is a code name for a new game coming out by Naylor Games, which is a bit like Gloomhaven, but with a time kind of aspect to it, real time kind of time of 5 minutes. And then some other brilliant games which I got to play include Some of the big ones you might have seen, like Star Wars Rivals and other things like that. It was such a fantastic weekend. It was so busy, and it was great to see everyone. So did you enjoy the expo? Let us know how you found it.
So Dan, I met for the first time last year, and he's just awesome. Great content, great guy, great to play games with. He's the one who was playing Cranium 25.
Okay.
And just spot on. Absolutely a awesome member of the Instagram community.
And did you get a chance to play Snowdonia's expansion? I know
100%.
it was kind of
I booked my slot as soon as emails went around that Tony was going to be there, Tony Boydell, with the Snowdonia expansion. I applied for a space, and at Friday at 11:15, I turned up. And now, if anyone knows, Snowdonia has always been in my top 9. I had the original game of the box. I still have that version. They then did a mega box, and through that time there were a load of promos. They did a mega box, which is a huge set of content, and you thought that was it. And then there were rumblings or rumors of a huge train of more content coming down the track. And out comes Tony with around 10 expansions in a box that's nearly as big as the master box.
Wow.
Now, I didn't see all of it, but we played through one of the new maps, and I didn't win. Tony won. And that's because he's better at playing the game than me.
He designed it, so of course.
Did, but I did try. And they all connect. So there's one based on the murder on the Orient Express. There's one going down the Florida Keys. So it's kind of a global train journey. All of it is compatible with the master set, the master box. I had a great time. Probably the highlights of my show because I'm a massive fan of Snowdonia and actually in generally Tony's games as well. Really good chat. Let's hear what Tony had to say.
Hi, this is Tony Boydell at the UK Games Expo 2023, and I'm here demoing Snowdonia Grand Tour. And I've just been demoing one expansion scenario of quite a lot of scenarios that will be coming out in this big box expansion for the whole game. And it's going to mix up maybe your expectations about Snowdonia, change the way you play it, change the way you think about it, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy lots of scenarios from all around the world.
So again, coming later in the year, if you haven't played Snowdonia and you like a worker placement, it is absolutely one of my all-time favorites. Have you played it, PJ?
I haven't gotten a chance to play. I don't know anyone who has a copy.
You need that trip to the UK.
It's in the works.
Yeah.
It's in the works. I need to do it. Yeah.
One of the Instagram community has been publishing and making a game, and that is John from Trywin Games.
Yes.
With his game called Can't Poop, which John will now talk to you about for 30 seconds. Let's go for it.
Oh, hey Gareth. Great to speak to you. Yeah, I'm John from Trywin Games. It's been a great expo. I've been doing back-to-back demos of my game, Can't Go, the game of poop, points and pandemonium. It's been a blast. People are taking pooping turns and to try and get points out, and then finishing turns to try and claim them. It's been lots of chaos. Oh, crikey, it's been a lot of fun. It's been brilliant.
When I saw John's game of giant poops with sweet corn and the score count as a piece of sweet corn, you can do nothing but smile with a bit of toilet humour. Every time I walked past that stand over the 3 days, there were people playing that game, having fun, enjoying making the longest poop possible with fine tips of a poop.
Yep.
It's coming out. I don't think that we've got a Kickstarter date for it or crowdfunding date, but it's coming out back end of the year. A load of fun.
I watched John. He did like an Instagram live video.
He did.
Van.
Yeah.
I guess he was in the queue.
He was waiting to unpack his stand. Yeah.
And the way he described it was his Games Expo experience was either in the toilet or talking about toilet. And I was like, oh my God, that's great. Yeah.
There's a lot of poop. So let's listen to Jay.
Jay, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm Fields of Carcassonne on Instagram, and I visited the UK Games Expo on Saturday with my son, Isaac. We visited for the first time ever, and we had a fantastic time just browsing, looking around all the stalls, chatting to people, and generally just soaking up the atmosphere. It was so great that we'll definitely make a return next year. Thank you.
So, we have one game to go.
This one, so I had the pleasure was talking with Craig, Get Into Games, and his wife Becky. We were virtually playing a couple of games over the weekend, and he was really promoting this game that I would not have thought about at all, and I know you like it too, and that's Stomp the Plank.
Stomp the Plank, Hachette Games. Yeah. So, saw this at a press show, had a game. Well, no, more of a demo. This is aimed at kids. So the box, high production box, open box, put box up, down, upside down. You have 4 elephant pirates. You have these cardboard planks with magnets that attach to the box, and this is just a push your luck game. Set of cards. You put your pirate on the boat, just inside on the edge of the plank, and you draw a card. You draw another card. And if they're different, you can draw another card and you can push your luck. If you get a match, then you have failed. You've been caught by the pirate captain and you move yourself along a step. If you stop and you decide to freeze, all the other players put between 1, I think, and 4 of these chips on the end of the plank. So you're trying to basically tip everyone off the plank. If you manage to get, I think it's 6 or it might be 7 cards different in a row, instant win. Now, it is simple, but it's so much fun because there's this tension of, like, you can really stack these chips high.
Right.
Even with the elephant a couple of spaces in. I taught one of our friends on Friday who generally has very narrow set of gaming principles, like worker placement heavy. I was like, there's no way that he's going to enjoy this. And we played it about 3 times. I took it to this family party yesterday. And again, I think went around 2 or 3 rounds. It's just simple fun. A lot of people have decided that you could probably make a drinking game out of it for an evening entertainment if you were to make it into more of a sociable thing, if drinking is something that you enjoy partaking in. But yeah, Stop the Plank. Let's listen to Rich describe this.
Hi, I'm Richie from Hachette Board Games, and we've got Stomp the Plank here. It's a kids, in big inverted commas, push your luck game. We have a deck, 6 types of treasure, represented 7 times each, and we want to steal those from Captain Giraffe. We steal them by revealing cards 1 at a time, and we can cash in whenever we want. Every time we cash in, we get to weigh down our opponent's planks. If we ever reveal a match in that row, Captain Giraffe catches us, and we take 1 step on our magnetised planks. Of course, there's only so much weight they can take until eventually splash into the sea we go, and that would be the game over.
Lovely. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a game that I thought would be in my collection.
No.
But it'll sit in the family party, entertaining, or if kids come over. Or likewise, you just want to have a bit of mindless end of the games night stupidity of moving an elephant along a plank.
Yep.
Flipping it over.
That was my thought. This is a good game to close out the night.
Yeah.
After serious gaming. So let's hear from yet another one of the Instagrammers, the only one from America, and that's Angel, right?
Hey, I'm Board Game Angel. My name really is Angel, and this is my first time at UK Games Expo, and it's only my 2nd board game convention ever. And I planned a whole vacation to be able to come here, and it's been amazing.
So what was great was that Angel had come to UK Expo, and the community had embraced her, tracked her travels across from the US to the expo. She spent some days in London. She then hung out at the expo. She has a fantastic range of clothing that you can find on Amazon, both in UK and US, and I'm sure other channels. Absolutely wonderful member of the Instagram community, and super heart of gold. It was just great to chat with her and hear what she had to say.
Yeah, I haven't met her yet, so I'm looking forward to it.
There'll be a time, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. So I noticed in the pictures and all the posts that Octoraph Games was there, and I know they make one of your favorite games. That's Brick and Mortar.
Brick and Mortar.
You got to hang out with them, yes?
We did. I saw that they'd come to the UK. I did a little like on Instagram, and then we had a little chat, and then met them like outside of Hall 3 on like the Thursday night, trying to do press, trying to hang games with people, so we didn't quite get to hang out properly at that point. But yeah, Nick and his wife were there. They are the publisher of Brick and Mortar, who I have talked about on my Instagram and the podcast
all
quite a lot.
The time.
Yeah, and single-handedly, it would seem, helping market that game across the world. So that was good feedback.
That's right.
And they were there with a prototype of a joint developed game between Nick and the designer of Brick and Mortar called Bagged and Boarded, which is all about comics. So
nice.
Yeah, we got to try that on the Thursday evening once everything had calmed down. Only played through 2 rounds because then the hall shut. But I had a great time. It's still very in development, but you are basically similar. It's very tight time allocation. You're a teenager trying to you can earn money through chores, but you're really spending your money by visiting the comic store. You can grab comics out of the bins. You can grab comics from somewhere else. You sleeve your comics. I did say, and I've heard other people tell me that a cool mechanic would be sleeving the cards, but it adds a bit of downtime. But thematically, would be amazing. It's kind of set collection. The prices go up, so some of that auction like valuation stuff.
Right.
I'm not massively into comics, but I can feel the theme like oozing through with this one. So we played 2 rounds. I've really tried to find more time to hang out with Nick because he had another prototype, but we just didn't get time. So I'll need to go to Gen Con or something. Or you need to do that and check it out.
Okay.
And finish off the game.
Well, yeah, well, then I'll take notes and I'll be like, listen,
we can compare notes.
No, that's good. Yeah, okay. All right. I'll put it on the list.
That was another great, things, the planets aligned and we got to hang out. So thank you to Nick for taking the time.
I think the best thing to do is leave us with your final thoughts. Favorite game, what stood out the most for you personally?
Ooh, so I think from a social perspective, we had numerous games I think we had 11-player Night of the Ninja.
Oh,
which is quite rare for us to get that many people together. We play a lot of games with like large groups. My biggest observation was how popular Blood on the Clock Tower is. Like everywhere I went in the daytime,
yes,
is being played in corners of a hall. Is being played in the middle of an expo, and then it had their own stand. And then I went back to our hotel, and it turns out that our hotel was the epicenter of Blood on the Clock Tower. So they'd arranged at one point on the Saturday night when I got back about 1 o'clock, there were 7 games running in reception or in the bar area. Anyone walking into that place would be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Who wasn't a gamer? So the popularity of that has really taken off, and I know both of us have been, we played it. You play it online with the UK guys. So I think that was probably my biggest observation. My favorite, I guess, gaming moment I think would be Tony Bourdelle and Snowdonia getting chance to play that, and then Acquisition. There's a few I haven't played, but I am suitably impressed by Earth.
Yeah.
So with that, we have a year to wait to the next UK Games Expo. I'd love to hear whether people enjoyed the snippet approach. I definitely enjoyed making those snippets and talking to people. And we'll find our feet in terms of the pace and the learning.
Yeah, because now I'm up on deck and got to do this for Gen Con, right?
You've got Gen Con coming up. And then there's certainly back end of the year, a few more UK Instagram sessions being set up.
Absolutely.
And with that, I'd like to say thank you, PJ, for letting me talk about the Games Expo.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
I hope everyone else enjoyed it, and see you all soon.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Please subscribe, and as always, we love to hear your thoughts and ideas. So make sure to leave those in the comments. And don't forget, you can also chat with us both on Instagram at Meeple to Meeple.